So, apparently, after decades of paying national insurance, working themselves half to death, surviving asbestos ceilings, factory shifts, British rail sandwiches and Margaret Thatcher, millions of people are now being told, retirement? Ah yes, about that. We've moved it again. Terribly sorry. Best keep going until your knees sound like microwave popcorn. And now, something very interesting is happening. A movement called Back to 65 is taking the UK government and the DWP to the High Court over the state pension age increases. Court dates? The 5th and 6th of June. Leading the case? Michael Mansfield, KC. Media coverage? About the same level as a UFO landing in Milton Keynes at 3 a.m. Yes, hello, welcome to the channel. It is I, Chris, with a K. I hope everyone's well. Oh, and when I say with a K, I'm not saying my last name is with a K, because clearly it's Brooks. It's just Chris, but with a K, not a C. Anyway, now before anybody starts foaming at the mouth in the comments, no, this does not automatically mean everyone suddenly gets their pensions back next Tuesday with the complimentary Greggs voucher and a signed apology from Parliament. But this case could expose something a lot of people have been saying for years, that millions of men and women paid into the system under one understanding, only for the finish line to keep quietly moving forward while they were already halfway through the marathon, because the British government treat pension age announcements like British Gas treats repair appointments. Yeah, somebody will definitely arrive between 8 a.m. and the eventual collapse of civilization. Okay. For years, the pension age was considered fairly straightforward. You work, you pay national insurance, and you eventually stop working before your spine looks like a Jenga tower. Simple. But over time, the retirement age has shifted upward. First, it was 65, 66, 67, and at this rate, by 2045, the state pension age will be death plus 3 working days. And people are furious because many claim that they were never properly consulted, never clearly informed, and had no real time to financially prepare. Now, legally speaking, Parliament can raise the age of pension. Now, legally speaking, Parliament can raise the pension age. That part isn't really disputed. The argument here is whether the process was lawful or not. The argument here was whether or not the process itself was lawful, fair and properly communicated, which is where the judicial review comes in. And this is important. A judicial review is not the court deciding whether or not something feels unfair down the pub after 4 pints and a packet of dry roasted peanuts. It is specifically asking, did the government act lawfully in the way that it handled this? That's the battleground. But you do have to admire the British economic model. Work until you're 67, pay tax on everything, own nothing, and if you complain, you're told, well actually Brenda, according to this spreadsheet produced by a man called Oliver, who's never held a shovel in his life, says that statistically you're thriving. Brilliant. Absolutely world class. Meanwhile, MPs can debate pensions roughly after the lifespan of a yoghurt in the fridge. But ordinary people? Nah. Back on the forklift, Barry. The economy needs you. The government's argument has always been that people are living longer and that the pension system is becoming too expensive. And mathematically, there is truth to that. But this is where people feel betrayed, because the social contract was changed after decades of contributions had already been made. And that's why campaigns like WASPI and Back to 65 gain traction. Not just because of money, but because people feel like the rules changed midway through the game. Just imagine running a marathon. Bloody hell, I don't think I could. And at mile 24, someone appears dressed as a civil servant and says, "Good news everyone, we've extended the race by another 12 miles. due to updated longevity forecasts. You'd launch them into a hedge. Now online, people are saying there's media blackout. Personally, I think we should be a little bit careful with that phrase. There's no official evidence that the government has banned coverage, but it is fair to ask why an issue affecting millions barely gets discussed unless there's a protest, a court case, or somebody glues themselves to something. Because if Love Island contestants change shampoo brands, every newspaper in Britain seems to find time for that. But millions potentially fighting pension decisions, apparently less urgent. Whatever side you're on politically, this case matters because it touches on something so fundamental. Can governments drastically alter long-term financial expectations after people have paid into the system for decades? And if they can, what are people actually planning their lives around anymore? I'd say that's the bigger question here. Not left versus right, not party politics, trust. Once people stop believing the rules matter, is when society becomes very shaky. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I shall see you on the next video. Bye for now. Quick public service announcement. As many of you have noticed, the digital landscape is about as reliable as a politician's memory during an inquiry. Videos are vanishing from feeds, notifications are going missing, and apparently the algorithm now treats independent creators like a suspicious package at an airport. So if you've hit the subscribe button and assumed that YouTube would calmly do its one remaining job, that's adorable. But now you need to hit the notification bell and set it to all, not personalised. Personalised basically means we'll show you a video every third lunar eclipse. And while we're here, running an independent channel is a bit like operating a pirate radio station from a shed. So if you value what I do here at LSB Film Productions, and it is just me, there is no team, there are no writers, there are no researchers, it's just me, and you want to keep this channel alive and mildly irritating to the powers that be, please consider supporting for just £1 a month. £1. You can't even get a decent cup of tea for that. But if enough people chip in, then it creates something solid, independent, no corporate leash, no YouTube team whispering in my ear. And genuinely, sarcasm aside for a moment, your support matters more than people realise. But by supporting the channel, it gives the channel the ability to keep talking freely as much as we can when platforms like this suddenly decide, well, that conversation's a little bit too risky. Every single person that backs this channel is helping to keep those independent voices alive, whether it's mine or the guests that I have on. And thank you to everyone who does support the channel. My appreciation goes out to you all.